Workshop. Let me give you the agenda for the day. Excuse me. My name is Patrick, by the way. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. Been doing that for about 5 years now. What we're going to do today is we will cover who we are, what we do, sort of Art Storefronts at a high level. I've got like a little video that I can play you that explains sort of everything that we do. Excuse me, I had something in my throat today. And after that's done, I'll come back on the other side, do some ranting, and then we will get into your Q&A, which is always my favorite part of the whole thing. We're doing this a long time, really good at digital marketing, and got data on 4,800 customers, and to talk to literally hundreds of artists and photographers a week. So I've seen everything, I've heard everything. Yeah, I think really probably deliver some value whether you guys ever become an Art Storefronts customer or not. So I'd love to hear, where are you in your journey? How much have you sold? Have you sold nothing? Yeah, what's wrong? Oh, April, you got to tell me. Was I literally, you guys are so patient. Was I on mute the entire time? You guys are all just sitting there going, look at this Yahoo. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wow. All right, now I'm gonna do a truncated version. It's funny because I saw Shannon like struggling with IT department, which I imagine is her husband, and I'm like, what's going on over there? Is it me? And then of course it's me. So there you go. That's awesome. Well, there's my mulligan. Welcome guys. Art Business Workshop. Name's Patrick. Been running the marketing department here. What I'm going to give you now is a truncated version of what I just said on mute, which is hilarious. We're going to start with a video up front, quick high-level demo, who we are, what we do. We'll kind of explain our secret sauce, and then after that, we'll get into the Q&A where I love answering your questions. I'm really good at digital marketing. I've been in this business for a long time. I have data on 4,800 customers. I know what works and what doesn't work in terms of marketing tactics to actually sell, and I think I can help you. Where are you guys? Are you just getting started? Have you sold absolutely nothing and you're trying to figure out whether you can? Did you have a robust business before the pandemic hit and now your offline revenue sources have been crushed? Are you doing well online? Are you struggling with niche selection or how to handle limited editions or how to think about pricing or how to run a live art show or anything in between? I've been doing this for quite some time, like I said. So I would love to hear where you are and how I can potentially get you unstuck. So we'll get into that after the fact. Quick video in the chat. Michelle comes swinging already. I don't need to hear a sales pitch. There's no sales pitch, Michelle. That's who we are, what we do. If you think it's a sales pitch, fine. If you want to come back on in 20 minutes because you are averse to sales pitches, which really won't be a sales pitch, that's okay too. But I'd like to joust with you after the fact because I like when you come out swinging on a Monday morning. It makes me happy. So April, go ahead, and I'll see you guys in like 15 minutes. This is the homepage I'm talking about that we just recently redid, and I think it does a really good job articulating sort of who we are, what we do at a very high level. And if you scroll down the page, there's a bunch of videos of me explaining a whole bunch of things, everything that we do from top to bottom. But our tagline, which states everything that you need to start, run, and grow a successful art business, really does sum up what we do. We get pigeonholed as they're a website company. And yes, we do offer websites, but it is a tiny, tiny portion of what we do. Ultimately, we learned a couple of years ago, the hard way, by the way, if we are going to grow and be successful as a business, Art Storefronts, that is 100% dependent, surprise this one, but on how successful our customers are, on how much art and photography our customers are selling on a yearly basis. And so when you look at that as the problem that we're solving, it becomes so much more than a website because a website is not enough. But still, we're going to talk about the website. I'm going to get into the other layers as we go down. So it does indeed all start with the website. I will pull one up because it'll make it more interactive. And, anyone that's been attempting to sell art or photography for any period of time, I'll use Bono today, they know one thing conclusively: selling art in an e-commerce capacity digitally online is not like selling other items. It's not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or electric scooters or bicycles or anything else, right? Buying art, and buying art online is A, an extremely visual process, and B, an extremely friction-filled process. And what do I mean by friction? I mean, friction is all of the various different things, that will prevent a visitor to your website from turning into a buyer, And so really Everything that we do with our software is attempt to solve for this friction, okay? To solve for the friction, to solve for how important the visual aspects are towards selling art and photography online. And you know, it's never any one feature. It's all of the features working together. It can be little things like when you select a media type, which is canvas, it changes to a canvas, a gallery wrapped canvas. Most people don't even know what a canvas is. And so we've developed special videos that show the differences, the nuances in the real world, what an actual canvas print looks like, what's going to show up at their house, what are the high points of this one, is canvas different than metal. Oops, I missed a click on that. And so you can see what a metal print looks like and how it's sitting flat, eventually how it's hanging up, all the nuances, the intricacies, because it is such a visual process buying art. We have a feature called the wall preview, which allows you to cycle through various different room types. Again, such a visual process buying art. Not only can you circle through the different room types, and yes, you can add your own room type images in. We use some generic ones by design, and you can size pieces up and down, see what it's going to look like. Do I need a 36 by 49? Is that too big? Do I instead want a 28 by 38? We're making it easier for your potential customer to get to a buying decision. What if they want to, their walls aren't white, right? What if they're this ugly color? Or there's something a little bit darker. Is the piece going to look good with this color, right? Because again, buying art is just such an incredibly visual process. You know, another feature that everybody likes to talk about that we get a lot of plaudits for is we have this feature. Excuse me, mute that. Called Live Preview with AR. Okay, and what this is this allows somebody to come to your website with their telephone, can be iPhone or Android. You can see the phones here on the right-hand side, and without downloading any apps, they can just use their phone, their camera, and press one button on your website that says Live Preview. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the camera on their phone, okay, which is going to show the real room, the real wall, where the art will potentially go. And then it takes your piece in augmented reality and it projects it onto the wall. And you're able to move it around with your finger. You're able to size it up, size it down, take screenshots. And so is it going to look great in the room? What size do I need to get, right? And so, again, this is attempting to solve for the visual friction of, I don't know if it's going to work in my room. I don't know what it's going to look like, right? It's just getting them one step closer to a buying decision, removing the friction from the process. And, you know, I've been doing e-commerce marketing, digital marketing my entire life. Everyone loves to gravitate towards the wall preview or the live preview with AR. But the reality is when you do this for any period of time, it's not about one individual feature. It's about all the features working in conjunction, and you never know which one's going to end up, you know, if we think of a sports analogy like a basketball team, it's how many players you have on the court that can contribute, right, to eventually scoring that basket. And so it's why we do the demo process. We have literally hundreds and hundreds of features, all to remove the friction, all to help you get better at selling art and photography online. And when you request one of these things, our outreach team will reach out, have a conversation with you, and schedule it. It goes like an hour and 10 minutes, and we just go through feature after feature after feature. So it's not about any one of them. It's about all of them working in conjunction. Independent of that, let's keep working down the page. So we also have a ton of back-end software. It turns out running an art business, art photography business, there's a ton of individual little nuance and things that can slow you down, okay? Things like uploading an image and how many images do you have to upload to your web page for all the various different media sizes and types you have. It's very helpful to be able to just upload one, have all the sizes auto-populate for you, and tell you exactly what you can sell. Things like markups. How do you set markups? Can you do it globally? Can you do it per media type, right? And so no one likes to talk about the back-end features, but we have a slew of those as well, all there to make your life easier, to give you time back, okay? Let's talk about our fulfillment. And we love talking about this. This is in our company DNA pretty significantly, but I'll pull up a website. So we're on Bill Stidham's site. Or I should probably start here, actually. So we are integrated. Well, let me start here. You can have it any which way you like. If you're an artist that just does originals and you get orders, obviously you're going to be responsible for fulfilling the originals because you have them. If you're an artist that has a local printer or a photographer that has a local printer, you really like using your printer, you can use your printer. The orders come in, you send the order to your printer. We call that self-fulfillment, no problem. What we recommend our customers do, though, is integrate with one of our print partners, and I'll get into the reasons why. But we've got Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. We've got Bay Photo on the West Coast. We've got Print Partner for our customers in Canada. And then we just recently integrated with a company called Guten that handles the merchandise, and I'll get into that in a second. How does it work? You sign up, you get your site set up, which usually takes 14 days or less. You click a button that says, I want to integrate with this print partner. An order comes into the website. The printer gets paid. You get paid. The order gets printed. The order gets boxed. Your logo goes on the side of the box. Boom, it ships to the customer. You touch absolutely nothing. There's nothing you have to touch, nothing you have to do. All happens automatically. And again, it's to give you back that amount of time. And, you know, no one has time in today's day and age to be dealing with the admin, okay? Any time that you spend on the admin, by which I mean sending the order to your local printer, checking on the proof, sending tracking numbers, did it ship, any of that correspondence, all of that, if you're spending your time on that, is time you are not spending on your biggest problem, which is your marketing. So we really believe like streamlining sort of this drop shipping, print on demand, automated fulfillment is a very, very wise decision if you want to create successful artists and photographers. Now, just recently, this was probably like a month before Christmas maybe, we integrated with a company called Guten. And what it allows our customers to do is sell merchandise of a myriad of different kinds. You know, hoodies, iPhone cases, tank tops. You know, they can come in, adjust the image exactly how they want to see it. Maybe they want to tilt it depending on what case it is, and get iPhone cases and, you know, a number of different other items. We've got throw pillows and I clicked out of it, and coffee mugs, and we're adding more and more and more and more of these. And on the subject of merch, we realize, again, if you go back to our original mission, why we exist, you know, we need to create a set of circumstances, a set of conditions such that the artist, the photographer can make and grow as successful a business as they want. And so some artists look at this merch and they're like, they turn their noses up at it and like, that's not fine art. Why would I ever want to do that? Some are like, I'm all in, I love it. We don't care. Our job is to provide as many different opportunities for artists and photographers to be successful as possible. And we've been totally blown away by how much of this stuff actually, believe it or not, sells. And some of it is higher margin than you would think. Like a throw pillow is $44, and what does a tote bag cost? I think a tote bag costs $38. So sell it or not, you have every opportunity imaginable available to you. If you want to have it all, in kind of like Bill does here on his site, where, you know, you have your fine art media types across the top, and then you have the merch all in one product page, great. If you want to have individual items in the store, you want to have your artwork, fine, and then you just want to have a line of phone cases. If you want to have one for a couple of weeks and then turn it off, you can do any and all of that, and it's one click to turn it on at any point in time. It's automated. It's completely automated in terms of fulfillment, and that's not going to change. And we realize, again, like, artists and photographers are essentially just creators, right? You're just creators, and you have a talent. You have a talent with a brush, or you have a talent with the lens. You want to monetize that talent, okay? So again, our job is to give you as many different opportunities to be able to monetize that talent as possible. So that's how we go about it. And, you know, again, it's a debate about when to use it or when not. But somebody on one of these sessions earlier was like, you know who's the greatest rock band of all time? I was like, no, who? He's like, the Rolling Stones. He goes, guess what the Rolling Stones have at their concerts? I said, what? A giant booth for merch. He's like, they sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of it a year. If the Stones sell it, I'll sell it. So anyway, I thought that kind of stuck with me. It was fun. So that's our print fulfillment. And I should say, too, that we're adding calendars, and we're adding puzzles, and we are adding photo books. And to be honest with you, if they come out with a line of hot air balloons, we'll add hot air balloons too, right? Because again, it's creating a set of circumstances such that the artist and photographer can be successful. We don't care where the success comes from. I don't care if Brian gets into business and he's the #1 iPhone selling case guy of the entire United States. He's got a successful business, right? So not for us to decide. Support. We believe we have best-in-class support. If you took a look at our Facebook ads and you scrolled through the 350 of them, you'll see more positive responses for the support than just about anything else. We're very, very good at this. Yes, it's in all the venues you think it is: email, phone, chat support. But in addition to that, kind of what I'm most proud about is we run 6 days a week, including Saturdays, Zoom sessions, just like the one you're on right now, okay? And you can pop into one at any point in time with any support-related issue and get fixed, get unstuck. There's screen shares. They can take over control of your computer and just get you sorted instantaneously. So we're very, very good at it. Not only do we support our application, we ask you guys, we teach you guys marketing all year long, which I'll get into in a second. What if you're having a problem with Facebook or with Instagram or with MailChimp or with your Facebook ads? We actually support that too. You can pop into a Zoom session and say, hey, Patrick, I'm stuck on my Facebook ads. I'm getting this message. Can you help me? And our team will get you unstuck. That's an amazing thing. There's not many companies that do that. So I'm very, very proud about that. That's in terms of the overall website picture. And we essentially do all of that, okay, to give you your time back such that you can work on the biggest problem that every single solitary person on this Zoom call has, which is their marketing problem. You need to get better at it. And let me tell you, I've got 4,700 customers, and there's only one universal truth about every one of them, right? Every niche imaginable, every subject matter, all over this country and others, every one of them has a marketing problem. The person that just passed $500,000 a year in sales has a marketing problem. They want to grow that business, they have a marketing problem. The person that just is getting started, sold their first piece, they have a marketing problem, and everybody in between, right? It is the biggest problem. And so, you know, we want to create successful customers. We realize we need to teach artists and photographers how to market. And so how did we solve for that particular problem? We created collectively what might as well be called the Art Business University. That's how we look at it, because I'm not sure there's a better term to explain it. Go. One, we have the best digital education that exists in terms of selling art and photography online, full stop. I'm hang my hat on this. We have detailed documentation that we call playbooks on every marketing facet imaginable. How to run an email campaign, how to run a Black Friday sale, how to go live on Instagram, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time with your laptop on a cell phone. Detailed, step-by-step, audio, video, screenshot documentation. If we're asking you to send emails, we will give you the email copy. You just adjust it to taste for what you're doing. So the playbooks are incredible. They're very robust, and they're very focused on teaching you how to market. We pair that with a 365-day-a-year marketing calendar, okay? It has on it beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You take on what you can take on. You're never not knowing what you need to be doing on a week-in, week-out basis. You start doing, first, you're overwhelmed. You're like, I've never done this. This is crazy. How am I going to survive? And then you fight through it. And you got through the beginner level, and then you take on the intermediate, and then you take on the advanced. The majority of our customers follow this doggone near verbatim year in, year out, because it works, it's effective. Not only does it tell you what to do, but it solves for one of the other greatest pandemic of our lifetime, the shiny object syndrome, okay? Not only does the calendar tell you what to do, it tells you what not to do, okay? What not to be spending your time on, right? And how do I know this? One, I'm very good at digital marketing. Two, we have 4,700 customers, and I get to see all of their data. I can tell everyone on this call conclusively, out of the 4,700 customers that I have not seen anyone turn a positive ROI out of marketing on Pinterest. No one is making any money from marketing on Pinterest. So I'm going to tell you, you don't have to worry about Pinterest. I see you laughing, Mary. I do not want you spending any time on Pinterest, period. Waste of time. So too with SEO, okay? So the calendar is equally powerful on what you need to focus on is what you ignore, okay? Is what you ignore, and that's a big deal. Number 3 of the Art Business University is what we call office hours, okay? We take the entire customer base, we split it into 3. Until you sell $2,000 directly on your website, you're in the traction group. And after you sold $2,000 on your website, you're in the ramping group. After you sold a much higher revenue threshold that we don't publish, you get in the advanced group, which we call growth. We hold week in, week out, every single solitary week, and we took 1 week off for New Year's, but essentially 48, 49 weeks a year. Zoom calls like this. You come on a weekly basis. It's either me or members of my team. We go over the playbooks. We go over the calendars. We talk about wins. Somebody landed an interior decorator and sold $35,000 worth. They're going to come on and tell their story. Not only are they going to come on and tell their story, they're going to say, here's the email that did it. Here's the copy. Here's the Facebook post, and you can go and look at that stuff, right? And you're learning in concert with your peers. Digital online education is not enough, okay? If you look at the stats out there, I don't care who it is, Kajabi or Masterclass or lynda.com, 30% of the people that buy those courses actually finish them. So we can't just have digital education. We have to have in-person teaching sessions, and everyone knows how to Zoom now. It's our new reality. So those sessions, which we started like, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of the pandemic, have been the single solitary biggest fundamental change to our business we've ever had. If before the pandemic, I had 100 customers, and I told those 100 customers via email, guys, Black Friday's coming. You got to get going on your sale. Here's the playbook, right? And then I recorded a podcast episode, and I was like, we're going to do this. 35 out of the 100 would take action. After these video sessions where I'm able to go through things, people are able to ask their questions, raise their hands, get unstuck, learn your peers. I have 75 people taking action on that sale, and it's fundamentally changing the business. It is making our customers more successful, more accountable, actually staying focused. Like, look, you guys are all solopreneurs for the most part. I mean, we could pull this entire group, and not a lot of you guys have a big team. You don't have an office behind you where you're yelling at an intern to help you out. You are a solopreneur, okay? Myself, the CEO, we've been entrepreneurs our entire life. I know it's a roller coaster. I know there's highs and the lows. When you're on those lows, you need a kick in the pants, right? You need to be lifted up sometimes, and that's what these Zoom sessions do too, which is incredible. We follow it up with a Facebook group that is highly curated. Okay, there's no trolls, there's no nonsense in there, right? You've seen some of the other groups out there online and how ridiculous it gets in those things. And artists are sharing with other artists, photographers are sharing with other photographers, the people that are in the landscape niche are talking to others in the landscape niche. Hey guys, what do you think of this new direction? What did you use in terms of pricing? They're publishing their wins. And so sometimes you can't just hear it from us, the official company mouthpiece. And so it's nice to have a whole bunch of people that are doing the same journey at the same time, helping each other out, sharing, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? So that collectively is the Art Business University. And it's like a college. It really is. And the difference is you pay your tuition, you come in, and there's no graduates because the learning never stops, right? And, in addition to that, it never will stop. In today's digital marketing landscape, the goalposts are just constantly moving, right? Like so quickly. You feel like you just learned something and it moves over here. So we keep you up to date with all of that. As a final, about 6 months ago, or maybe 5 months ago now, we started an in-house marketing agency. And it's an in-house marketing agency that only does one thing. It helps artists and photographers sell more art online and off. And we believe already, as of today's date, it's the biggest sole-focused art and photography marketing agency in the world. And that's not hyperbole. I've been asking on these calls, can someone name me an agency that specializes only in helping artists and photographers sell their work? I haven't found one. No one's ever put one in the chat for me, especially not a big one. Why? Because my aforementioned point, selling art and photography is not like selling swim thins or ladies' handbags or scooters. It's hard, right? It's really hard. And we're good at it because we've been working at it for a long time. Also, I get upset, right? Because I look at all of you guys as like, you own a McDonald's, right? And if you owned a McDonald's, you have to know how to do the ordering. You have to know how to clean the floors. You have to know how to open the building. You have to know how to operate the drive-through window. You have to be able to flip burgers and fries and do all of that and do the ordering, right? Like, it's your business. You need to understand those things. But at the same time, I'm not naive in the sense that 80% of our customers still have full-time jobs, or in some capacity. Maybe they're service-based photographers and they're trying to sell their fine art. So I get it. You need to be able to have the ability. If you don't have the time to do the marketing and you have the resources, you need a la carte things that you can jump off the shelf. Hey guys, I need my Instagram profile tuned up. I need my Facebook page tuned up. I need to help with a sales campaign. You need to be able to do that sometimes. In addition to things like, we'll completely build your website for you. You don't want to do that. You hate building websites. Your fears in life, in order, are death, taxes, and building another website. I get that, right? So you can drop your images in a folder, tell us to build the site, we'll build the site for you, okay? We'll manage your Facebook ads, okay? We will manage all of your social posting. And again, it goes back to the top premise. Like, our job is to create successful customers. And so we looked at it 6 months ago, and it's like, we need to have an agency. And then some people are like, well, I want to do it myself. Fantastic. Our job is to have the best DIY product, do it yourself, learn, come on the sessions, and then also have an agency where you can pay. And again, it's a la carte, or it's, up almost full service. And the amazing thing about it is, I've been doing marketing a long time, right? What do all marketers love? A case study. Oh, we love a case study, right? With the sexy data about this huge win, and we publish it on social media, and we use it for lead generation. So totally did that all the time, okay? Guilty, and if you lose, you don't publish it, right? You wait till you hit a winner and do all that. But it used to be, I would go and run a case study with a customer, and I'd have limited bandwidth to do that, and then we would build the playbooks. Well, guess what I have now? I've got agency staff. I've got one guy that all he does all day long is spruce up Instagram pages for artists and photographers. He did 65 of them last week, or 65 last month. So imagine the learnings that we're getting. What happens is the learnings are going right back into the playbooks, and then they're coming on to the Zoom sessions and they're teaching, and we've got a little flywheel going on, right? We've got a little artist and photographer education flywheel. So it doesn't matter if you ever order a single solitary service from the agency, And we don't even care if the agency ever makes any money, in all honesty, because all it does is just improves the product, makes more successful customers, and helps us grow. So we really, at the end of the day, are fundamentally a business that can be thought of as a rowboat, right? It takes our oar, your oar. We jump in the boat in the same time, and if we can get that thing rowing in the same direction, the faster we can get that going, the better everybody does. So that's Art Storefronts in a nutshell. That's my presentation. I really do like that transition, April. Great job. The one update I would say to that, I know that's a lot to take in one sitting, and I know this because I always play it, and then I get questions, and I'm like, did you not watch the video? There's obviously too much in there, and you end up going glassy-eyed. But, one of the biggest discoveries we've had are like the Zoom sessions that we have with our customers. It's no different than the one you're on right now, except we're teaching whatever the thing is. Everyone's in a room learning it together. You can ask whatever questions, and people actually take action as a result of being taught how to market and build a business when it's face to face and it's real, rather than go read such and such, do it yourself, learn on your own. So one of the most difficult things has been like, okay, all of a sudden we're running video sessions now 6 days a week. Some are tech support, some are marketing support, some are just general teaching. Sometimes we go like deep on one particular subject, and I'm like, oh my God, I need teachers, right? The problem is it's really hard to find a competent marketer that understands how to sell art and photography, because unless you've been doing it for a couple of years, you have no idea what you're doing, right? So one of the cool things that we've been doing recently is we sort of realized, like, wait a minute, we have 4,800 customers. We have the data on the 4,800 customers. Let's start with the ones that are absolutely kicking butt, right? So we know they're not charlatans, they've sold things. And let's start having them teach, right? And so, I think we're going to turn into the Netflix of art marketing and business education. I mean, that's essentially what it is. You go in, you figure out what it is you need to learn, and there's a session there for you, right? Whether it's pre-recorded or an upcoming one. So, this is how it started, and I can just kind of tell you briefly where it went. We had some lady that's an accountant, and she's like, I want to start doing accounting services for all these artists. I know every single solitary aspect of the business. I know how to deal with the sales tax in the 50 states. Can I run that session? So now we have a session on accounting. I hate accounting personally, but if you need to learn anything accounting related, there you go. There's a session. We have one particular gal that's really, really good at licensing images. She's licensed images a bunch of times and gone through all the negotiation from start to finish, what the splits look like, what the contracts look like, how to deal with the lawyer, and all of that. So she's teaching that session. We have multiple people with over 1 million followers on Instagram. They know what they're doing on Instagram. We even have some people that are like the 50, 60,000 range that I think are even better than the ones that have 1 million followers. So we're going to do deep dive sessions on Instagram. How do you handle every single solitary aspect of it? And so you have these one-off classes that you can go to, and it never stops. And I think, everyone's like, oh yeah, Art Business University, sweet. That's not BS on my part. We have essentially already an Art Business University. Everyone's already been to art school, right? You've learned about the masters. You've learned about all the various different periods. You've learned about Van Gogh, Michelangelo, and everything else. Where was the class on how to build an actual business that you can survive on? Where was the class on how I can actually live my dream of being a full-time artist and feed my family, right? Like, so that's what we're teaching. And we're teaching it with like the digital landscaping bent to everything, the digital marketing landscaping bent to all of it, which I think is critically important. So I'm really fired up about all of that. And yeah, all good. I'll open it up to questions. A couple different ways to do questions. One, there's a participants button bar at the bottom of this thing. You can click that, and there's a way for you to digitally, not in real life, but digitally raise your hand, and I'll see it. It like forms a queue. So you can do it that way. If your camera's on and you just start waving your hand, I'll usually see that too. There's some questions in the chat, including extremely fired up Michelle, which I can't wait to bring on here. Accuse me of that sales pitch, Michelle. Let's do this. And then, if you're on the socials and you want to ask that way, great. If your camera's on, fine. If you don't like to put your camera on, totally okay too. Hate video. I hate being on video. So I totally understand that. So I'll just kind of go through the list one at a time. But all right, Michelle, you're up first. Let me make sure. So okay, Michelle Miller, go ahead. You'll have to hit like the little mic icon in the bottom left-hand corner if you want to talk. Are you there, Michelle? I'll try to unmute you one more time. Okay, Michelle might not be there. I think I scared her off. Did I, Michelle? I don't know. Oh, yeah, okay. She's throwing things into the chat. Okay. All right, Ben, you're going to go next. You got to hit the microphone icon in the bottom left-hand corner.
All right.
Yeah, so before we get into any demo or any pricing or anything else, where are you in your career? Have you tried to sell your art? Is it art or photography?
No, it's illustration. Mostly illustration. I do some photography. So mostly what I've done is just Facebook. Between people that know me, I have a page, like an art page, that people just come on, and I post the things there probably like once a month.
Yep.
That I've created, and then they'll say, "Oh, I like that," and how can I have it? And so I'll sell originals or prints of them, or I'll give them, usually like for friends, if they're friends, I'll send them out like a free, like high res, like, you know,
screensaver, background,
DPI. Go print it, have it for free. So I'm not like, you know, a professional.
Yep.
So, but I've done this for 10 years now, and just like I get enough for like maybe like a summer to get me through the summer, because I'm a teacher. I'm an art teacher. So that's enough to get me through the summer usually. And I do some 3D work, and I sell it on like different that's a different thing. Like I do like
Yep. So
I do 3D models, and I'll sell them for like $1 or 50 cents or whatever. And so I'm just looking to see like how can I change from a very kind of like intimate, you know, between friends thing, and to get a wider audience.
Yeah.
Because I know Facebook has offers for like adding your ads, or but
don't do it. Don't do it. Do the 11th commandment is thou shalt not boost posts. Okay. I know there's some people on here that have done this. No boosting posts. Don't do it. Go out into your backyard in these winter months and light the money on fire. You'll at least get some warmth off of it. Okay, because you're not getting anything else.
I haven't done it because I'm like, boosting a post is like, it's just people that I know that like the work that I do, and they buy it. Like,
there's a million other reasons. There's a million other reasons to do it. There's a million other reasons not to do it, which we can get into. So here's the arc, and you can't violate any of the steps at any path. I know you've been doing this for a while. I suspect that you have already gone through this step, but you can never suspect. You have to sell your art, okay, to people not named mother, brother, father, sister, friend, okay, to strangers. The only way it happens is they pull out the almighty credit card. They do not know you. They want your product, and they say, run it, Ben. This looks awesome. I'll take it, right? Now, you know, it's independent of the price, but early on, like, you know, your family, your friends will lay down an oncoming traffic for you. They love you. They'll do anything. They cannot be the one to validate, to tell you that you have a product that the market actually wants. Pre-COVID, pre-pandemic days, we would say, take the plunge, get a booth, okay? I don't care if it's the farmer's market or if it's an actual like art weekend show or something along those lines, and have your art on a table and talk to 15, 20 people and see whether or not strangers, whether or not they'll buy it. If they buy it, you're in business, okay? You know that you have a product the market wants. Once you've determined that you have a product the market wants, you just need more attention and eyeballs, right? And that's where we come in. We teach you how to do all of that. But you know, it's very dangerous. There's a lot of people that want to try to skip that step, you know, validating the art, and you have to get the art validated. You have to know that you have a product the market wants, because if you don't, you know, then you're going to do a bunch of work on marketing and it's going to be crickets. So if you still feel like you're in that zone, the hack to do it in, did I just unmute myself now? The hack to do it in today's day and age is what live art shows, specifically grabbing your phone, getting 6 or 7 pieces together, going live on either Facebook or Instagram, whichever one you have the biggest following, and be like, what's up, guys? You know, COVID really sucks. I've been doing a ton of art. I've decided I'm finally going to take my business seriously and launch it. And so I'm having a live art show to raise the funds. And I want you to go through each of your pieces. In fact, you know, I might as well have pieces if I'm going to do this, Ben. Hold on. All right, guys. So I've finally decided to formally launch this art business, and I have a number of pieces. and you're going to hold the piece up. You're going to talk about it. You're going to talk about what it costs. You're going to say that it's ready to hang. It's ready to go on the wall, that you'll ship it. Something like this would normally sell for $475, and I'm willing to let it go for $225. Send me a DM if you're on Instagram, or a message to my Facebook page, and then just cycle through some of your pieces, right? And is that upside down? And try to tell them, try to sell them. So that's a way you can sort of validate in between, in between deciding if you've got a website and you're ready to go live and do everything else. So that's what I would say. And you don't want to put the cart in front of the horse ever. Don't ever put the cart in front of the horse, right? Like one step at a time. So knowing that, Ben, that's where I would start. I wouldn't worry about, like, do I need to invest in a big fancy website? No, you need to sell. You need to move some product, right? Find out for sure that, like, people are willing to pay for it, and then you've got something. It sounds like you've got something, but those are the steps that I think you would need to take. Yeah. Okay. You muted yourself again. All right. What else? All right, Michelle, I saw all your things. It looks like you're completely sorted. Sorry, I'm just scrolling down through the questions. I hear somebody unmuted because I can hear them. Oh, it is you, Michelle. You're unmuted, by the way.
Cool.
I can hear your mic. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, I have an established website through Shootproof.
Okay.
And then I have my own private gallery, my own private website that I'm going to do more exclusive releases on.
Okay.
Of like more than just wall prints.
Okay.
But what I'm stumbling with is that my customers, especially right now with COVID, customers are like doing exactly what you said. I mean, you're not lying to people when you tell them that they really want to be able to see that art on their wall.
Yes.
Does it fit?
Yes.
I mean, money is too tight. They don't want to be wasting their money on something that's not going to look good on their wall.
Yes.
And then on top of it, I have so many different like art pieces and styles and colors of art that like my peeps are going, I like all of them, but which one is going to look good in that one space?
Yep.
So that's why I have my established ads, my repeating ads. I'm on every possible SEO platform out there doing my sales pitches, launching every week. I've got my spring sales ads already going out. But what I need is what you guys have specifically to be able to give my consumers the option of being able to see my art on their wall before they purchase it.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's just, I mean, that outside of that, I'm looking at a really flimsy market and can easily just fall to pieces. And the consumers are wanting something solid, especially in the days of COVID right now. Everybody wants something solid. They don't want to be wasting their money.
Do you have a bunch of original pieces, or you're a photographer? So do you have a bunch of prints that you could show right now on a Zoom call or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have an entire line. I also have award-winning prints that have already gone to other photography galleries and have won like peer awards.
Okay. Yeah, here's what I would say, right? And you're going to appreciate my integrity when I say this, because everyone thinks that there's always one feature that's holding them back, and I find that that's never the case. It's the combination of doing everything correctly. The biggest mistake many photographers make is all they try to do is ever just show 2D images, right? Like think about their Instagram profile and it's just 2D image after 2D image after 2D image, and it's like, no, they are buying this. They're buying the thing that goes on the wall. This is the actual product, right? And like the way that I say it is, if I hired you, Michelle, to sell knives for me door to door, would you show up with the catalog of knives, or would you show up with the actual knives?
The actual knives.
Yes, thank you. So big deal.
Exactly.
But the wall preview and like the live preview with AR, they will help you get some percentage of sales over the line and get you closer. But it's not a panacea, right? Like I've been doing this a long time, and I see how the sales go down. I see what ends up creating the sales, and it's the reason we have so many features. You never know which one's going to actually get the deal over the line for you, but when you have a bunch of them all working,
correct.
It makes a big difference.
Exactly. And then as one increases, the notoriety goes to the others, and that increases, and it actually builds a business.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm in the process of doing, is building a business.
Yeah.
I'm not just sitting around thinking about it. I'm trying to actually work it.
Yes.
And you guys have a particular tool that my company just really needs.
I understand.
To be able to reach those consumers and be able to put that personal artistic touch to my business.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta know where to sign up and how much.
Okay. April's put some links in the chat. We'll email you after the fact too, because we email everybody the replay and then any links and such. And so you just request a demo. One of our lovely outreach folk will reach out for you, and we have a Valentine's Day sale going too. So make sure that they get you in on that. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I see the questions in the chat. I usually prioritize the hands that are up. So I'm going to start with Lisa. You are up next. Lisa Karshinsky.
Hi, Patrick.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thanks. You?
Yeah, good. Aside from starting the thing off on mute.
My newborn is napping, so
yeah, totally
if I
understand.
have to jet, I'm telling you why ahead of time, but
totally understand.
We're good for now. I wanted to know what your opinion is for launching a line of wall art with either using my personal name or using an inspiration name that will maybe tell a better story for marketing purposes.
Yeah,
I can get more creative if I
early on, no matter
play with that angle.
Let me tell you. So here's the deal: go with your gut, right? Go with your gut, and here's the reason I say that is because what normally happens in branding situations is that you're gonna take off with this name, right? But then you also have your name, and no matter what, the artist is always part of the brand, right? Like if you think the vast majority of the artists are not known as a person. Let me give you an example. Yeah, Weiland is the whale guy, right? Everybody knows Weiland is the whale guy. He's the guy that paints whales. Everybody knows that, right? But he's also Weiland. He's both things. So what ends up happening is you launch in your mind. In your mind, you're thinking it's going to make me or break me, whether I'm my name or whether I'm the brand. Nothing could be further from the truth. What's going to happen is you're going to launch with both, right? It's going to be Lisa Karshinsky, and then it's also going to be whatever the brand name if you go that direction, and the brand name will either take off or it won't. If it won't, who cares? You're still just Lisa Karshinsky. That's it, right? So don't overthink it in the slightest. Early on, we don't know what we know. You just ship both of them or not, or just be Lisa, doesn't matter, and give it a shot and market for a year, and then see if it's really starting to resonate. You're onto something. If not, you might just drop it completely, right? Like, you can get a URL or a domain for both, Lisa Karshinsky, art.com, and then get one for the branding idea that you have. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, then drop it and just be the artist. That's what I would do.
Okay, thanks. Because everything in my intuition is telling me to go with the more creative aspect.
Yeah, 100%. Do it. But
I
don't.
just know
but
so
don't,
many other artists go with their name, so
yeah.
I was really torn.
Yeah, just don't overthink it. And like the number one way for success, like if I was betting, if I was going to bet on Lisa, I would say whatever it takes, Lisa, to get the thing in the water tomorrow. Stop thinking about it. Stop ruminating on it. If your gut feels strong about it, I like it. Let's go with your gut. Trust it and get it in the water and see what happens.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and good luck with the newborn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I need sleep.
Oh, I understand. Mine are 3 and 5, and I'm certainly not out of the woods either. Wait do they start coloring? Wait do they start coloring on your walls and beating the hell out of each other all the time? The challenges change.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
4 months old and not sleeping through the night.
Yes, I really.
But I'm still ruminating my concept, so that's good, right?
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. And you got.
Thank you for your time.
Yep, and you got an extra mouth to feed, so don't worry about it. Just get it in the water, ship it, and we see where we land. Okay, Shannon, you're up. Go. And then you'll have to hit the mic icon bottom left. Yep, you got it.
Got it. Okay. This kind of goes with what Lisa just said. So my thing is I've got my website established and my name kind of out there, and I'm with a couple of galleries. So my concern is that if I go with another entity, which I think is the best idea, so I'd have both, will, in your experience, have the galleries dropped people? Because that's my biggest concern. If I start to sell product on your website, does that sort of devalue all my originals in the galleries?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't devalue the work in the slightest. That's not your issue. Your issue is, does it upset the gallery to the extent that they're like, Shannon, you either stop that or you're out of here, right? That's the question. And the good news is everyone. This is another one of those things where like everyone starts doing the Chicken Little situation, right? I'm not accusing you. I'm saying I would do it. The Chicken Little, before you even get into it, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. So one, some galleries will, yes, they will get upset, okay? And we've seen everything. It's like kind of a case-by-case basis. Like if you have one gallery that's selling $50, $60, $70, $80,000 worth of your art, $150,000 is just a significant amount of income and revenue, what you do is you say, awesome, I just want to do some additional marketing, okay? And I want to build up a brand of my own. So whatever our split is, I'll keep the same split going for online. No problem. And then just keep going, right? It'll mollify almost instantaneously. Then you have all of these situations where it's like you have a couple of different galleries, right? And some that are doing this and some that are doing that. And some that are doing bigger pieces or higher volume and some lower volume. And it's like, how do you placate all of those? It's like, guys, I'm an artist. We're in the middle of COVID. Your gallery is closed. My income is dropping. I need to be able to sell on my own, right? We actually have an article. April will put it in the chat, but we'll also email it to you after the fact that talks about specifically some of the different scenarios and how you negotiate on all of it. And so how you can go about it. But, you know, the terrifying thing is like, I believe that the gallery model is forever crushed. It's not ever going to come back in any capacity or way that it was before for a number of different reasons. One, there's too many of them, they're going to be out of business. Two, the ones that do stay, which there'll still be plenty that stay, are now going to have twice as much leverage as they had before because the pool of artists is going to be so much bigger. And so if they have someone in their gallery that's not selling well, they're going to be like, hit the road. I got someone else to do it, right? Or if they come back to you and they're like, Shannon, we really want to keep you. But here's the deal. There's so many artists now because of all the galleries that are closed. We want to move from the 50-50 to the 60-40. I'm sorry, right? So, you know, those situations might pop up too. You know, everyone thinks that art storefronts is anti-gallery. We're not anti any revenue source that is paying you money, right? Like if there's something that's working, it's a revenue source, fantastic. But never can you have any of those outside revenue sources in lieu of building your own business where you control the rules, right? Your website, your traffic, your social following, your email list, your ability to market to your collectors in perpetuity. So that's what I would say. I think you can take it on a case-by-case basis. Just as a follow-up, your name's out there, your art's out there, which is awesome. But do you have any website at all? Any home on the web?
Do I have any what? Sorry,
like a web? Home on the web. Do you have your own website now?
Yeah. I've got a decent website. Okay. But am I selling? Like I just started e-commerce or commerce on it, but will I sell off the website? Probably not. I find that's where the galleries come in. I sell from them. Yeah. And word of mouth is a big one. My Instagram is a big one, but yeah. So as far as this goes, that was my main concern. I would like to use the opportunities that you guys have. Like, I mean, for example, I don't know if I would do it, but throw pillows, my work might look good. Mugs and stuff. No, but that's where I'm like, will it diminish the value from the gallery's point of view?
It definitely doesn't. It definitely doesn't.
Back up to one thing that you did say. Did I hear you say that do some artists actually make a deal with them that 50% of their online?
Yeah, straight up. Not. I mean, let's just put it all on the table. How much are you selling a year? You don't have to tell me exact, but pretty decent clip.
Yeah, decent, but could be better.
But could be better, of course. Okay, under 100, fine. Like, yes, some artists, if they are in a relationship where the income is significant, and like, let's just be honest, I talk to thousands of artists. If you're above like the 65, that puts you in the 90th percentile, puts you like the 97th percentile, in all honesty, not kidding. So if you are in a scenario where it's like, wait a minute, I have a pretty sweet deal here, the last thing that I want to do is piss these people off, right? So you just want to make an awesome relationship even more awesome. Be like, look, I have the passion to do this. I'm willing to maintain the 50-50 split, even it's my marketing that I'm bringing the buyers to the table, and you just keep that person happy. But what you're doing is you're shifting the balance of power because yes, you're keeping them happy at the 50-50 split, let's just say, but you're gathering email subscribers and you're gathering customers that you have their transaction data and they know where to find you on the web. And guess what? They don't want to just talk to the gallery. Who would they rather talk to? They'd rather talk to you, right? And you know, it's easy to make the relationship adversarial, and I don't think you have to. Like, if you've got a really good relationship with this gallery, just go right in and be like, here's my plan. I love the relationship that we have. I love the work that you do. I'm willing to do a 50-50 split, right? And keep it going. But what you're saying is, but I'm also not putting all my eggs in one basket, because what if you decide to quit tomorrow and then it's pandemic times 2 because I have no one to market to. I have no email list, right? Like I'm not able to generate my own sales. Like it's just a hedge. It's a hedge against putting all your eggs in one basket, which I don't want you to do. And in terms of the merch, man, I've had my head spinned around it. I thought it was snob. I was early on. I was like, this stuff sucks. This is so stupid, right? Like a lot of it is so low margin. You have to move so many X dollars amount of it. And I just completely come around on it. And one, I used that quote early on with the Rolling Stones guy. He's so true. It's like some of the biggest companies in the world have merch, right? And not only can you sell it and have a good time selling it, not only does it completely expand out your customer base, because I mean, let's be honest, what do your originals start at? They're not cheap, are they? No. So there's a whole group of buyers, right? I always do like the bell curve thing, but I might as well do it. I got my chopstick here. Everyone's attention period is a bell curve, okay? And the bell curve starts down here with the lower class people that don't have any money and socioeconomic status. I'm not saying they're trashy people. Socioeconomic status, and they're still valuable because they like and they comment and they share and they know people that have money. And then it goes lower middle class, upper middle class, upper class, right? Everyone's followers are on that bell curve, period, full stop. And so a lot of times what people will do is one, they'll just say, I'm only going to market to these high net worth people here, right? I'm going to ignore the whole rest of the bell curve. And then they also ignore it from a pricing standpoint. If I come to your store, Shannon, and the cheapest item in your store is $1,000 or $1,500, do you know how many customers you're alienating there? A significant amount, right? You have to have some of these lower price point items to be able to get them in the game. A rule, hard and fast in business, especially in e-commerce, that the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have, right? And so everyone tends to say like, oh, they bought $80 worth of throw pillows or like $125 of tote bags or whatever the thing is. Well, guess what? 3 years from now, that person's going to get a bigger house. Who are they going to come to for art? If you have their email address, you have their contact information, and you're now marketing to them for the last 3.5 years, you stand a much better chance of getting that sale later. So one, it's really, really hard to get attention in today's day and age. 2, having the price point variability. So you're down there in the low all the way up to the really high. 3, the easiest customer to get. 4, those people will continue to refer. And then 5, it's really effective for marketing, right? Like, it's send somebody a nice note on a gift card, right? Like these gift cards cost you $4.50. Like you have the ability to do that. Like, hey guys, it's Friday. I'm unveiling my newest piece. Crack a thing of wine open and go, oh, by the way, let's have some fun. Pull out a throw pillow and give one away for the funniest comment, right? Like it gives you ammo. It gives you ammo to advertise on. And what I've seen is, what really spun me around was we have the guy that I showed in the video, like he sold like a lot of those Santa Claus pillows, like a lot, right? And he painted a Santa Claus. Guy's never painted a Santa Claus before in his life. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is an awesome Christmas gift. Not Christmas gift, but like a Christmas decor thing. I can buy it and bring it out once a year. I mean, I almost got one after I thought about it. I was like, that's totally cool, right? Like, so the more revenue opportunities you have as a business owner, the more the business grows, right? And like maybe you hit a home run every once in a while and it's like, wait a minute, I dropped an extra $14,000-$15,000 to the business this year on throw pillows. Okay, how many more of those things can I get? And so I think, we look at ourselves as a business going, how many more things can we find for these people to sell? They are just creators. And if they have something that they can put it on that gives them the ability to monetize their talent, why wouldn't we want to do that, right? And so we're going to just keep adding and adding and adding. We're doing the photo books, and we just dropped puzzles, and we are looking to do what other interesting things we're going to do. We're going to do the decals, the wall decals. I mean, I want to have all of it. Like you should have the ability to have all of it and like turn it on at any point in time. Use it internally for your own marketing all the way up to like the big thing, right? And like have a sale. Buy today, and not only will you get such and such, but I'll also throw in a free tote bag, right, or a free iPhone case or whatever. Like you can do that kind of fun stuff. It's just a way for creators to monetize their talent at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, thank you. I don't want to take anyone else's time up, but I got lots more questions, but I'll look on the videos.
Yeah. We've got a ton. Your Zoom background game is strong though. Where are you right now? Are you at home or are you in a gallery?
Right now I'm at home in my studio.
Yeah, it looks good though. That's a good Zoom background.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
That was an accident because it's so small in here. It's
Nobody knows. Yeah. You got to make sure the Zoom game is on point these days. But yeah. Yeah, we can definitely help you. Don't worry about the thing, and we'll email you the. I mean, say don't worry about the gallery owner. Just contemplate how to approach it.
Cool. Thank you.
I love that question, and I love that concept, because I just, especially like, whether it's the online galleries or whether it's the local galleries, awesome, they bring you buyers, but to try and make a long-term, sustainable, profitable business where you don't retain the ability to market to your customers, not easy. That's like going into a fight with one arm tied behind your back. Like, you have to have the ability to market to your customers going forward. And I use the Weiland example. Do I have that book on the desk still? Do I have it? I've got Big Red Barn, but I don't have Weiland's book. I don't know where it is. Anyway, Weiland, who's supposedly the biggest selling American-based artist in the world right now. It's not even close, apparently. I mean, who actually knows? But he talks at length about how important collectors are, right? And a collector, definition by him, is someone that will be with you for life and buy 7+ pieces over the course of their life, right? And your business keeps growing and your prices keep going up, and the collectors just go along for the ride. And sometimes they buy significantly more than that. And I see that now with customers that have been on board for like 4 and 5 years, and year in, year out, I see their business keep growing, and the same collectors just keep buying and buying and buying, right? And it's almost like you have a built-in guaranteed revenue source that goes along with you. And I don't know what it is about, like, the collector. These people just like gravitate towards a particular artist, and it's almost like an addiction. It's almost like an unhealthy relationship, because they're like, I have to buy something no matter what. And you look at an artist who's been at it for 5 years, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's got 12 collectors now, right? And some of them have bought 20+ pieces from him. So extrapolate that out, and like, you're adding a couple more collectors a year. You're adding a couple more collectors a year. Next thing you know, your pieces are $20,000 a piece, and you have a show where you created a bunch of stuff, and you email all the collectors first, and you're like, hey, here's the first crack at it. And then you go and have the show, and 70% of the pieces have the little dots on them because your collectors bought them all, right? Like, when you're relying on the gallery to do that, that's just not a possibility. So, yeah, that's what I would say. Okay, more questions. There were some good ones in here I wanted to ask. Is it easy to sell digital prints? My work is a combination of mixed media and graphic design. Yes, it's easy to sell. Doesn't mean that they will sell, but when you do mixed media, there's like every different type of situation with the prints. Okay, Ellen, I think you've got a long enough one. I want to unmute you. Let me find the mute for Ellen. Okay, Ellen, I unmuted you. There's the mic icon in the bottom left-hand corner. You there?
Yep, I'm here.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'll start by reading the questions, and then you give some color. So
I have to apologize. I hit send before I was finished typing it, so we can talk about it.
Ellen, I'm so worried about it. I started talking for 5 minutes with mute on, okay? With mute on. I'm supposed to be the expert at this, so trust me, it happens. So several different Instagram pages. What's your situation there? Too many?
No. I mean, I have Instagram pages for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One's personal,
mm-hmm.
one's for an organization,
mm-hmm.
and then I have one for my artwork.
Okay.
But I dabble in it, and part of the reason is I don't really want to put my best artwork on Instagram, and I'm also very concerned about the images being used without my permission.
Mm-hmm.
So I watermark them to some extent.
Yep.
And people, certainly reached out to me. They want to start buying the work,
mm-hmm.
and I'm deciding how to be doing this. Do I do it in editions? And also the other big thing they ask is, do you have a website?
Yes.
Which I keep starting to do, and I keep looking at different sources, and I start to do it, and I keep stopping because it's not something I want to do.
Yes.
I want to be doing my artwork. And my artwork, I guess I'm several different, alter egos. I do fine art photography, but a lot of multimedia
mm-hmm. work.
And I paint on my images. And before things went digital, I would only have one image.
Right.
Now I'm able to do this digitally.
Yes.
And that type of work looks really good on a canvas.
Oh, it looks amazing. I love it.
And then there's something that, that's in between the two, which looks like a photograph that's painted on. So there's a variety of it. So I really am just looking to get started in a position of selling my work.
So have you sold any of the work yet so far, or no?
No, I don't want to sell any of it yet.
Okay.
Until I really feel like I have a support system behind me.
Okay, well let me start with support system number 1. The next time on that Instagram post that somebody says, I want to buy your work, you are going to respond to that Instagram DM with the price and the fact that you have Venmo or PayPal. Done. No need more friction than that. Price it, take that sale. Take that sale.
Well, that's the other issue, right? So the price is, what is the price point? I mean, and generally with art, the bigger, the more expensive. And I'm in a network of people. If I sell one person at this price, I might pitching myself in a certain price point.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about art is you can't really get price shopped, and it's completely arbitrary in terms of the prices. The larger point is I don't want you to put any more friction in between a sale. When someone emails you and says, I really want this piece, Ellen, come up with the price. I don't care if you want to throw darts against the wall or put a bunch of numbers in a dice cup and roll it. Pick one, sell it, have that transaction go through, right? Like early on, it doesn't matter. You definitely want to move those products without question. And
but I won't email a digital image.
Yeah, you don't have to. Oh yeah. Let's start with that next one. By the way, do you have any idea? Okay, and I promise I'm not poking fun at you, but this is a thing for me. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to sell art? Extremely difficult. Do you know what does not happen? People having images ripped off, and then people go and reproduce them and make hundreds of millions of dollars and buy an island. It does not happen. The images getting ripped off happens so infrequently. No, massive monetary gain happens as a result of it. And there's arguments that could say the best thing that could happen to you is somebody using your image. And so, because you get it out there and you get some eyeballs on it and you can sue after the fact. But independent of that, you got to start selling some stuff immediately, especially if you have that kind of feedback. I think you will. That's number 1. Number 2.
I don't know. I don't like it when people take something of mine and they make it into their Facebook banner and they go, and they tag me and say thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I should just not. I should ignore that and take it as a compliment.
There's like a whole bunch of people come with that same sentiment that I need to watermark the crap out of my images and people are going to steal it and put it everywhere. And I don't ever see any meaningful results of it happening. Like I just don't. I've been doing this for a long time. I have not heard of a single solitary person who's had a bunch of their work stolen and had it appear all over the internet and somebody make any money on it. Will somebody occasionally use it for a Facebook page? Yeah. But is that the biggest issue you've got? Absolutely not. You're sitting there without any sales yet. You've got to make the sales. That's it, right?
I guess the reason why I'm so tentative about this is that I used to do commercial photography, and this is a long time ago. And this was with using film, and it was done through advertising agencies, print ads.
Yes.
I didn't do editorial work. I did advertising work. So I would make an agreement with an ad agency. You can use this one image for 1 year, magazines only, and pay me an extra this for a billboard. You want to use it next year? Let's renegotiate it. I would never do something called a buyout and sell my image. A lot of photographers want to do that, but I feel it's really important to own the copyright on the image. I don't want someone reusing my image over and over again without my permission.
For sure. I'm super opinionated on all of these things, and all I hear about are a bunch of things that are not revenue generating opportunities, and all I want for you are revenue generating opportunities because I want you to have a business.
Well, and it sounds like you have the ability to help me put together a website.
Yes. Okay.
So I'd like to speak with someone about starting to do that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put a link in the chat. I think I totally get where you're coming from, Ellen, on all of those things. I think you'll need to be carried kicking and screaming probably to the sales process a little bit. But once you get there, if you're posting your work, your stuff, and you're getting how can I buy that? How can I buy that? How can I buy that? Step 1 immediately is to sell it, and that is a very, very good sign. But step 2, once it's on the website, you don't have to worry about anything else. All you have to do is just drive that traffic there, and you'll be good to go.
All right. I mean, as I said, I'm not posting my favorites or the things that I think are really strong because I'm anxious about the images being used without my permission. So
yeah, it's probably going to take me a couple months to assuage you of that anguish, but I'll get you. I promise.
I'm here because I'm interested.
Yeah. I know where you're at, and I know it's a legitimate fear. Trust me, it's not a fear. I'll take that off your mind. All we got to do is just getting right to the sales. And just as a final, because I love talking about it, and I'm gonna change my virtual background quickly. I use this guy a bunch because we're really good friends, and he's been a customer for a long time. But his work's amazing. Canadian guy, right? He uses like the impasto on top of the thing so thick that sometimes these canvases take like 6 to 9 months to dry after the fact. The reason I bring that up is to say, buying a print from this guy, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the experience, right? Because all of this is everything that he does pops off the canvas like that. And so don't get me wrong, every once in a while he sells a print, but he took the canvas prints and the metal prints, he orders them himself, and he spends an extra 15 minutes impastoing on top. And now he has like an $800 to a $1,400 price point, where his originals start at $15,000, and he does extremely well with those, extremely well. So to your point about what embellished prints, or however you want to call them, I love them. There is a fantastic price point margin in those. You can do extremely well with those, and it's like a hybrid between an original and a print. So it's a phenomenal piece to be able to sell. And especially like when you're charging a lot of money for your originals, the fact like I can't afford original, but $1,200 for the same piece, incredibly embellished print, like I can do that. And so I love the concept of the embellished prints, whether it's mixed media, whatever you're doing. So you're on the right path with that one, I would say, for sure, Ellen.
But with originals, with photography, my question really was, would you do that in additions? I mean,
yes, usually yes.
Yeah, okay, so you do an addition.
Yeah.
You do these additions by a size, so 7, 8 by 10s.
Yeah, no, there's really no like hard and fast rule of thumb, right? Like I've seen everybody that just do one-offs, period, and that's it. And they don't do anything else. They never will, and they don't care, and that's how they do it. And they charge a lot of money for each, and they print them really big. Fine. Some people that have a bunch of open editions that sell as many as you can. Some with limited editions. It's more about the volume that you produce and experimenting to get to the right sweet spot about what it is. But we can teach you a bunch of tricks on how to do that, how to market it, how to look at it, and figure it out. So we got a ton of training on that, but there's not any one like, Ellen, I know what to do. This is the price point. This is the size, and you only have 5 of each piece. Like that is the biggest bunch of nonsense ever. No one, like, it's different for everybody, right? It's like it's such a different beast in that sense that everyone's operation is a little bit different.
And then I'm sorry, but about using your printers, looks like you have a variety of different sources.
Yes.
I mean, how do you go about choosing one of them? Is there different prices for them? Is there any way to see samples of their work?
No, I mean, it's like Coke and Pepsi, to be honest with you. Printing in today's day and age, and I say this all the time, has sort of become a commodity. And I don't do that to knock print shops or not print shops, but back in the day, there was an art form to it, right? And so the individual printer you went to is a big deal. Now, if you look at both the West Coast vendor and the East Coast vendor, they're running the same computers with the same color calibration machines. They're running the same printers with the same ink. They're buying the same media types from the same media type manufacturers. Maybe their cardboard boxes are a little bit different. No one can tell the difference between one or the other. They all have the same everything across the board. So really the only thing you're getting from printers that actually are big enough that they have all of the various different things is service with a smile, more so one or the other. There's no apples and apples comparison between the two, zero, none. You could not tell a print from this one on the same media versus a print on this one. I mean, you get down there with the magnifying glass, good luck. It's all the same thing, right? So really at the end of the day, you're going with the one that's geographically makes more sense for you, and you're going with one of the ones that we pick rather than your local guide, because one, I don't want you going down to the local guy for anything. It's a waste of time that you're not spending marketing. Two, your local guy is doing maybe a couple $1 million worth of prints a year. The big guys are doing 30, 40, 50 million, and they're getting the FedEx and the UPS rates of that much shipping volume. So you can't compete, right? You can't compete. So yes, you can try everything. Yes, all media types are available. Yes, you can see samples and all of that, but the printing is a non-issue. You literally pick one, say, great, I'm going to go with this one, and off you go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really easy. And also too, like, dirty little secret is like, and Ellis, I'm gonna unmute you next. I saw your questions, but I'll use a perfect example, right? Like, I have a Vespa, okay? I have a Vespa, I like a Vespa, and I ordered, I'm not kidding, a $275 helmet because I swear to God, you guys are gonna make fun of me, but my wife and I have like the helmet that matches the Vespa. Okay, I'm secure. Don't laugh at me. I'm secure enough of my own. So the only way I could get this thing was that it came from Europe. Okay, it came from Europe, and this company called Scooter West, and it arrives at my front doorstep. In it's got like a pop up like front shade that's cracked in half. It's cracked in half, right? And so my wife is really, really like good at paperwork, and so she goes to fill out the paperwork. And they emailed back in 24 hours and they're like, yep, no worries, just keep it. And they refunded the credit card 100%. And I'm like, how is that even possible? Like, I get it if it's some small cheap thing, it's a helmet. And they're so big, they just don't care, right? And so, Ellis, this is a roundabout way for me to ask your question. Bay Photo and Graphic Dimension are so big that if something happens with the print going to their house, it's not worth them getting tracking numbers and whose fault was it. It's just run another print and ship it to them. We'll take care of it. Now you have two. So you don't stress about it in the slightest. Like, you know, the returns and stuff coming back it's just a non-issue. It almost happens not at all. I mean, yes. And again, Ellis was asking this question via email. Like, yes, you can have the policy spelled out on your page, but you could just as easily not have the policy spelled out on your page. It's just like, it happens so infrequently. You know, occasionally you get some crazy people that'll buy it, and no matter what, they'll just complain and be like, all right, fine, just whatever. Ship it back to me, right? Or you can say all sales are final. Either way, there's not a single solitary person that I know of out of the 4,800 customers that's ever brought it up other than like a one-off situation, like one weird situation that happened. And if anything does get damaged, it's sort of nice to know, like, yep, don't worry, I don't have to do anything. They're just going to ship another one to your house. Boom, done. It's kind of nice.
I was less concerned. I just didn't know if you guys had a global policy, because I'm less concerned about that on the printed on demands. I'm more concerned about that on my end, because I mean the print on demands, if there's enough volume, they'll cover themselves regardless.
For sure.
I don't want to be sending out originals because they're going to be high price point. I mean, there's a couple ladies that actually mentioned some similar processes to what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, and the originals you got to get insured,
yeah.
and you definitely have to be policyed up for sure.
And I'm not having them get photographed and do a jiggly down the road for $100 when send my original back or something similar. Yeah. I've heard of a few situations where I'm at where that happens, and I'm not dealing with it. It's like original's got to be. I mean, I just needed to know that, have the confidence that backing was there. Yep. So, okay, and then all right, that was the biggie one. So
okay,
thank you.
Yep, my pleasure. Yeah, I mean, the shipping the originals is the only part of this business that sort of sucks. Let's just be honest. I mean, it's not worth it. Just not worth it. Life is too short to do shipping. You have to hire somebody off Craigslist to like box them all up and tape them all up and do all that. It's just crazy. But look, I'm extremely opinionated about the watermark thing because I know how damn hard it is to sell art, and I just don't buy into this notion that this is a fantastic business opportunity for someone to go around stealing images and trying to create the business on their own. It's like, do you have any idea how hard it is to get this business working that I'm going to go to someone else's and steal? That being said, I'm opinionated. I'll tell you that straight up. That's my advice. You don't have to take it. My advice is to give you it. We do have some customers that watermark everything. We have a one-click watermark feature. You can turn it on every single solitary image in 2 seconds. You can do it on an image-by-image basis. And the images that we put up onto our websites are so shrunken down that you probably couldn't print a postage stamp out of it. So you know, I don't think it's a huge issue. So that's what I would say on that. Okay, I'm scrolling up. How to get another meeting? Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so Lauren's asking about big commerce. Now, Lauren, if you're still there, I'm going to try and unmute you so that I can understand the question. I just, if you hit the microphone icon lower left-hand corner, I'll be able to talk to you. Did it get unmuted? Hey. So we're our own platform, so we're not like a big commerce. Do you have a big commerce site now? Is that what you're saying?
Right. So right now what I have is I have both the tea business and my art in the same website, and it's through big commerce. So it's already on there, in addition to like having it on Etsy, having the social media platforms and storefronts, etc.
What did you say what did you say the two businesses were? You said your art, and then what else?
Herbal tea.
Herbal tea. Got it. Cool.
So like here, like I'll just go ahead and type it so maybe you have more of a visual of what I'm talking about. Oh,
do you make the tea? Do you make the tea yourself?
I make the tea myself, but you know, and I am selling it, and I have sold art in galleries here in Dallas, and I've taken on commissions and stuff. But of course, you know, it's been you sell, 5 paintings 1 year and you don't sell for 2 or 3 years, type of thing. And um, I'm trying to figure out a way, obviously, as the rest of us are, to sell more and on a more consistent basis. And already having BigCommerce set up for the tea business, like I'm wondering if I went ahead and set up, another website for the art, if there's a way to integrate them a little bit so that like one can be found from the other, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Kind of like
I normally, like, my normal go-to on this, like, we live in the age of attention, right? Like, the biggest commodity for every single solitary one of us, the currency essentially, is attention. If you have it, you can do anything. Without it, you're stuck to get into the game, right? Like, I always say, who are the most powerful? Some of the most powerful people in the United States right now, it's the Kardashians. It's the Kardashians. They could do anything. They could start a tea business tomorrow. They could start an art business tomorrow, and they'd sell hundreds of millions of dollars because they have all the attention, the Instagram followers. Why do I bring that up? You're likely just as much about the brand of Feral Majesty, Lauren Stout is the actual tea is, right? Like, to the extent that that's an artisan creation created by you and you love it and you're part of the brand story, I would say, like, split them up. Absolutely not. Why? Because attention is so damn hard to get in the first place. I don't want you bifurcating yours in the slightest, right? So I just say that just to say that. But there's a flip side to that. Like, if you ever want Feral Majesty tea to be bigger than just you and about more than just you, or not have it be so personality driven and just have it stand on the strength of its own, like, tea product, then maybe you let that go on its own, right? And you split them apart right now. So that's a potential way to think about it. But easy enough, like, if the Feral Majesty tea has an About Me section and you want to link that to your store that you sell your art on, fine, you could do it that way as well, right?
Right.
I would definitely be using my art in some of the labeling, though. Or you should.
Oh, I already.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, I do everything in that. So, but yeah, I mean, because on the website, I basically have it where you can look at the herbal teas and everything that goes with the herbal tea, and then I also have artworks, commissions, etc., that people can look at as well. Because it's like, yes, you're getting herbal tea, but on each herbal tea bag, you're getting my artwork.
It's cool.
That came.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't split them, to be honest with you, because again, like, attention is just so hard to get, right? And, like,
and I do have it split on Instagram, like Instagram, and I apologize for interrupting you.
No, it's
but
okay.
On Instagram, I have them split, but I share, like, everything from the art page I share on the Feral Majesty page on Instagram.
Yeah.
Not by because the art page is pretty much just art, whereas Feral Majesty, it's more like the experience or the lifestyle, or that type of thing.
Yep. I totally get that. Yeah, I would keep them together probably for a while. Just because, again, there's, like, it's hard. That I could argue this from every different angle, but especially early on, if you're not selling enough art, you want as much attention as possible, and also, you're sort of the case point example of, like, where especially these food production type businesses go, right? Like, instead of some giant company making your tea, it's some small artisanal craftsy thing. And what do they want to know? They want to know who stands behind the product. And not only do they want to know who stands behind the product, they want to know what their story is, right? And so they're getting to know you, like, and trust. And if they're drinking your tea and they're wondering what your story is, and you're growing these herbs in your garden and you're drying them yourselves, and then you're hand bagging them, and this tea is just so incredible, small batch, high quality, then once those people know, like, and trust you, and they need art, they're going to give you a look, right? They're going to give you a look if they know that you're an artist as well. And so I probably wouldn't split it. I just wouldn't. I would probably keep that all together. Yeah, I understand the two split Instagram accounts, but I like it all on one site. Or like, say you sign up with Art Storefronts, like, yeah, you would obviously want, you'd want all of your art on that site because it's easier to sell it, but you could just as easily throw a menu item on Feral Majesty, that says art, right? And it goes right to your store, and vice versa back the other way. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was, like, trying to get, is, like, is there a possibility to do that where, they can access the art storefront from Feral Majesty, and then they can access Feral Majesty from the art storefront.
And what also would be cool too, right out of the gates, is, like, it's a little suboptimal to constantly be bouncing back and forth between e-commerce situations, right? Like, you don't want that. That's not ideal. if it was a situation where you have all your tea on the one site, and then boom, you go to the store question, and in the store tab, and then that's your art. That's great. The problem is that like, I want you selling T-shirts, right, with the T logo on it, not just your art. I want you selling the totes and the handbags and everything else, right? And I want you leveraging that stuff for giveaways. And I think that's really actually smart. Some more potential income opportunities when they're buying the tea, right? And who knows how it goes or it doesn't. But at least you'd have the opportunity. But you could always, despite the fact that Art Storefronts is set up. Well, let me say a couple of things. One, if the tea business is the biggest business, I'm not disrupting that, right? Do not screw with that business if it's going well, and do it. But you could run the entire tea business from Art Storefronts if you wanted to, because it's just an e-commerce shopping cart at the end of the day, like all the rest of them are. It's just as good as big commerce doing the majority of the stuff. You could, aside from like one or two things, I don't know what like plugins you're using and the like. So food for thought, right? Food for thought.
Okay, thank you.
But I love that you're doing that. I feel like Texas is just exploding right now, and I don't live there, but the business is just based in Texas, and I get so nervy because I love beer, and my friends are like constantly just going to some new farm in Austin that they've turned into a brewery or a distillery or whatever, and they have the bands and they have the tables all outside, and you can sit there with your family all day, and all the kids play around. It's like, I live in densely populated Southern California. Do you know how far I already have to go to find a farm in the first place? It's terrible, and I like the beers. Okay. Julie, is there a rule of thumb for shipping prints? Well, if it's POD, you don't have to do anything, Julie, at all. So they take care of all of it. Maybe that part's not clear. And Anna, I see you've got questions too. Don't worry, I'll get yours. But Julie, go ahead. Are you there? Unmute if you can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. So with the POD,
count the cost.
Yeah. So what we normally suggest is a 250% markup. And so you take whatever your cost is for the item and mark it up 250%. You can do that on our website globally. We think that's a good rule of thumb in the sense that, every business is going to have sales, right? Pretty much every single solitary business imaginable has sales, aside from Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's. Somebody else told me Hermes, but I don't know because I haven't shopped at Hermes. I couldn't even tell you what they sell. I mean, I know it's clothes and it's expensive. That's not true. I know what it is, but you know what I mean. So when you do have a sale, you're going to end up having 10% off, 15% off, 20% off. So it's nice to have it all the way up to 250%, right? Because it gives you some room, some flexibility. But you can adjust it globally. You can adjust it per item. But we do like to start at the 250%, sometimes higher too.
So how do you figure that the cost?
So we have like a whole entire pricing table that'll tell you every single solitary option, all of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not your hourly wage, not your time that you put in.
No, just whatever the cost of the print delivered, printed and shipped delivered. Your buyer pays shipping, you don't pay for it. But whatever the cost of the print to you is, right? Like, I come and I order $1,000 canvas from juliekippinsart.com, right? So what I'm saying is that, okay, if that thing costs you $250, 250% markup, that's what it'll be in your store automatically. So the cost that you pay to the printer is what you mark up. It gets a little weird. I got to get like real numbers out and get a calculator.
Your pricing list might show that it's $10 for a 8x10
Yes.
print.
Yes.
And I have to pay them $10.
Yes.
For that.
Yes.
And so I get all the rest.
Yes.
Is shipping included in your pricing for the
in art, like it's pretty much understood that the buyer is going to pay shipping. You have the ability to cover the shipping if you so like, right? Like we have a lot of people that just ship everything for free and they just add an additional little markup because they feel like if Amazon's doing it, that's how I have to do it. I don't agree with that. I think art is like one of these unique, nuanced beasts where people understand that they need to pay to have it shipped because it's art. It's like special, it's got kind of like a luxurious thing to it. So I just say pass 100% of it on to your customers. Don't mark it up, but just pass 100% of the cost of shipping on to your customers. That's how most of our people do it.
And people do ship it.
What's that? No, not at all. Not at all. They ship it. So what happens is that, the order comes in. The order, you immediately get paid in your bank account. the printer immediately gets paid. The printer prints boxes, ships, slaps your logo on the side of the box. You touch nothing. You're already paid. They're already paid. Done. The shipping.
I'm looking at your pricing on your print on demand price sheet.
Mm-hmm.
That includes the shipping.
No, so the shipping, like let's just go from start to finish. $10 and let's just say $100 print, right? They go to checkout. On top of the $100 print is their shipping charge and their taxes, right? And let's say it comes out to be $117.27.
Okay.
The shipping and the taxes are paid by your customer. All the rest goes to you, minus the cost of the print. Does that make sense? I'm confusing myself talking about it.
No, I understand, but I'm just trying to determine going ahead with a plan like yours, how much shipping's going to actually be. How do I determine that?
Yeah, so it's determined by your print partner, your print vendor, and then also where they're located geographically. It's all calculated on the fly. They can see it all up front. You don't have to worry about it. You don't even have to think about it. All you have to do is set your markups and everything else is sorted.
$10 to ship a dinky little print, that's different than if it costs 79 cents. So I do need to worry about it as far as how I price my print.
Yes, but and let me give you an example. So what everyone tends to do is oh my gosh, I've got to have this sorted. I've got to get this done. This is going to be a huge issue. My customers are going to be very sensitive. They could potentially complain. Yeah, okay, but are you selling hundreds of thousands of pieces of art? In which case, it might be a very serious thing to stress about. What you do is you set the markup. You don't worry about anything else. You start marketing, and you wait till someone has a complaint about a shipping on an item. Then you know what you do? You email that person and say, Patrick, thank you so much for the order. I noticed that shipping charge was a little weird. Let me fix that for you, and I'll fix it. And then you just move on, and you don't stress about it in the slightest. And that's one of those things that, like, early on, it's hard to do, right? Because we all have these things that we get wound up on. You're wound up on the shipping right now. It's not an issue. It's literally not an issue. Like, if your customer emails and says, like, hey, this shipping issue, just say, oh, you know what? I'll just cover it. No problem, right? Like, it won't come up as much as you think. Even with, like, the global setting of the 250% markup, as long as your teaser prices are not too small. I mean, when I say you're like, you've got some really, really small pieces on there, because on some of the images, some people do like tiny, like 3 inches by 4 inches. In that situation, sometimes the shipping can get a little wonky because for whatever reason, like the way the calculator works, it goes wonky. But by and large, we just don't see it being a big issue. We don't get a lot of complaints on it either.
Yeah, I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about me.
Yeah, but you understand, you're not paying any of the shipping. Your customer is. You don't pay shipping.
I didn't understand.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, no. If your price is $10, the item goes into the store, it gets charged tax, and so now we're at $11.99. It gets charged the $5 in shipping, and the customer pays the shipping.
And your website will
takes care of all of it. You have to do anything.
Okay. So, yeah. All right. So I never.
Non-issue. Yes. No, it's like, wait a minute, we just solved all of that? Yeah. Non-issue. You don't have anything to worry about.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. You're all good. This is like a lot of what we do too, is like take, the things that like, and don't feel like I'm lashing out at you, because I can't even begin to tell you how many times I overly stressed about nonsensical things. You don't realize they're nonsensical until you start doing it. And, in your case, it wasn't even nonsensical because you just didn't understand how it all worked. But there's so many things that like we get wrapped up and stressed out about and worried about, and they matter not at all in the slightest. The only thing that's difficult to do is actually get the sales. Everything else after that, water off the duck's back. They're easy. And I'm going to unmute you. Does Art Storefronts work with consultants? I'm confused. Are you a consultant, or are you asking if we have consultants?
No, I'm a consultant. I work with artists and writers to put their marketing material together and then to secure an agent.
Oh, interesting.
And so of course, what you're saying is absolutely true. There's not anything I would say I would disagree with in what you've said. But my own personal preference, of course, my clients have to have a website. I know they kick and scream, no, I'm an artist, I don't want a website.
Oh, no, 100%. 100%, I agree. 100%.
And I go, no, you don't exist without a website.
Yeah.
And I can design and do design websites for them, but I hate putting them together because I'm not an IT person.
Yeah, it's the worst.
You know, I'm not.
It's the worst.
So my question is, if I'm working with a client, the client wants to work with me. They don't want anybody else to work with because they're busy in their studio. Can in your system, can you have an administrator on the account besides the initial person?
Oh yeah, all day. And by the way, Karen Ryder from Facebook is like, I like the black cat. So your cat got a shout out already on the Zoom. So
thank you very much. That's Sophie, the queen of the night.
Yeah. So we got to throw that out there.
Shelter kitty. Everybody, hardest cats to get adopted. So black cats will bring an artist good luck. So get yourself a black shelter kitty. They need homes.
They do need homes. They need to be taken care of.
Yeah, they
but
do.
To go back to your other thing though, I definitely 100% advocate you get a website. The only area, I mean, it's what we sell, right? It's what we sell at the end of the day. One of the things we sell. But the larger point though is that a lot of people early on, without ever trying to sell their art to anyone, will just say, okay, the way that I'm going to sell it is I'm going to go invest a bunch of money and a bunch of time, and I'm going to get a website, and then I'm going to try and sell the art. What I'm saying is, don't let all that get in your way. Figure out the fastest way to go have an opportunity to try and sell your art and see that you've got buyers. If you do, fantastic. But 1,000% you need a website for sure, right?
Well, you've got to have a website. You need to know your niche because that's who you're going to market to.
Yes.
And then the website has to be designed to appeal to that particular niche. So if your art is, more traditional, let's say it has a folk element to it, then that's got to be reflected in your website right all the way through to every picture you put up.
Yeah.
And that includes your social media that you're doing. You may say, I'm at X show, I'm out doing plein air painting, whatever. Okay, where's the images? Do they match? All of that has to work just, all the way across the board, because if it does, the impact every time it hooks, it magnifies. So, 1 becomes 10, 10 becomes 100, 100 becomes 1,000. And that's the first thing agents look for is that website.
Okay.
We want to see the website. And an agent, of course, is a wonderful thing to have. They do a lot of legwork for you. They can get you into the virtual galleries, into the virtual shows. They do a lot of legwork for you, but you got to have a website. I don't mind designing one. I just don't want to get into having to program it.
No, or support it or keep it going.
It's not my field. I don't like doing it. So if you guys can work with an administrator, then that's great.
Yeah, we do. We do all day. I mean, did you hear too? Like, I've been doing this a long time. I am convinced that in order of hierarchy, the artist's biggest fear in life, death, taxes, and having to build another website. They hate it. No one ever wants to build the website. This is like the most terrifying thing ever. So we actually have a service.
Well, and I would say also that I would add 1/3 one to that.
Yeah.
Or 4th one to that, which hit 4th. There we go. 4.
Yeah.
Is that the website has to be maintained and fed.
Yeah.
As do the social media, and if it isn't designed properly, it can eat your studio time like an animal. It'll just consume you. So how you set it up and all the things you can do with it that'll cut corners and make it easy for you is and give you additional exposure.
Yeah.
You need the exposure.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age where there are basically the galleries are defunct.
Yeah, I know.
The physical galleries. And so how do you get your pictures out? How do you do that?
It's terrifying.
So that's a real hard thing. And the world is changing, and it's changing literally, basically in the art world, about every 6 days, we have a new impact of technology and
it's for the
connection.
Better. It's for the better. I think.
It's much better.
Yeah.
It's much better. You wonder how anybody did any work before this, but you can now have from your studio a global impact.
100%.
Where once, unless you lived in New York or San Francisco or LA, it was impossible.
We're seeing that too, like crazy. Like I think it's honestly, especially a lot of the disruptions sort of wrought by the pandemic. I think it's the best thing that's ever happened for the artist, period, because it puts the balance of power back in their hands. Which is not to say it's not easy, right? You have to do all the marketing, you have to get the attention, but once you do, the fact that you can sell direct without leaving your house, that you have the ability to create these things out of whole cloth without having to go to some manufacturer or supplier, and then sell globally with no 50-50 split, pretty awesome.
Yeah, and designing your site, if you're going to sell globally, you need to be aware of all the design elements of different cultures. What is beautiful in one country can be highly offensive in another. And so you have to have all those elements in there if you're going to get a global market going on your site of, do I check all those cultural boxes across as I go?
Yeah, especially
one thing I'd like to ask is after, because I need to click out, but is if you could, within your organization, please refer me to the person or have them give me a ring or a buzz or whatever who works with consultants directly. I would appreciate it.
Okay. Do we have your email list? Send April, get Anna's email address and we'll take a look.
Okay. I'll put it up for everybody.
Okay.
I'll put up my site and my email for you.
Cool.
So let me do that now.
Yep.
Okay. But good job. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. All right. I'm running out of steam, which means it's probably okay. So Ellen, I think, took off, but she had something there. I don't know. She'll come back. Do you guys have partners that print cards? Yes, we do. I think I answered that. Okay, I think I've covered them all. Is that it, guys? Any other questions? Any finals? No? Okay, well, we can certainly leave it there. I would say too, like I said, we're having a Valentine's Day sale. So if you feel like you want to find out more information, you can request a demo. What happens when you do? Our lovely outreach team people will call you, and it's like a 10-minute exploratory call. And then if you like what you hear, they set up the full demo. If you don't, they will never call you again because they're not pushy salespeople. So that's nice. But thanks. I had fun for Monday. Sorry for the early technical difficulties, which are embarrassing. Yeah, and just being a little bit off. Julie and I are speaking separate languages there for about 10 minutes when I could have had that one solved in 2 seconds. Sorry, Julie. It's a slow Monday for me. The Super Bowl weekend is taking its toll. But thanks, guys. I appreciate you. And Lauren, send me some tea. I would like to try some. And yeah, I think that's what I've got. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.